Weird, when did Star Wars start using giant mechs? Pacific Rim 2, the sequel to the monumental success that was Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim. I use success very lightly because it just kind of made its money back. It wasn't a success, but it also wasn't a failure. But here we are, we have a sequel now, so. To begin right off the back, obviously you know that I'm a huge fan of kaiju films, so I technically count Pacific Rim in that. They even call the monsters kaiju, so it kind of has to count. I think this film is actually really hard for me to talk about for the main reason of there's things that I like, but there are things that I don't like, but they all cancel each other out to a movie that's kind of meh. It wasn't what I expected, but it didn't blow my expectations. It was weirdly in between. I think where I'll start off with is that John Boyega's character is definitely maybe the weakest part of the movie, because he doesn't really go through an arc. It's more of the side characters that all go through the arc. I mean, heck, even one of the characters from the first movie gets a really big arc in this movie, so it's a little on the weird side, I guess. I wouldn't say this movie's bad. I wouldn't say it's on point with the first one either. I think where my opinions lie is that it's different, but different enough. Because there are things in the movie that it does where it's really, really cool. Like, the thing that I like about it is that you can definitely tell there was a lot of Evangelion inspiration in the movie. Like, a certain thing happens and it's like, that's directly out of one of the Evangelion movies. It's not even just a joke. But one positive I will say is that they have all the action scenes during the daytime. That's definitely one of the positives that it definitely has over the first one, because where the first one, I think the only action scene that was actually really good was the one that was in Tokyo, if I'm correct, because you could actually see it. Where the rest of the fights, they were in this weird, rainy, mucky water, and it was really hard to see what was going on. It was still really cool, but it was still obscured. Where in this movie, if I'm not correct, I believe every single fight scene is like during the day, or it's like really bright out. Maybe some people complain because they could see how the CGI doesn't work, but I personally think that it's way better so I could actually see what's happening. I think that's another complaint that people had, is that the CGI isn't on point with the first one, and I disagree with them. I think it's on the same point. I think what their problem is that the weight is very different in this movie. Where in the first one you felt every punch, you felt every kick. Whenever they started revving up for a punch, it felt like it took years for it to hit contact. Where in this movie, it's a slightly more cartoony, where you can't really feel what's going on. But I wouldn't say that that's a downer. It's definitely a disimprovement from the first one, I would think. I think one of the other problems that I had is this didn't feel like a movie to me, I guess. It felt like it was a pilot to a TV show. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing, but if they made a Pacific Rim TV show, like an animated TV show, I would be 100% on board. I would love that. But I think overall this movie is very meh. It kind of just came and went. It didn't leave the impact that I think the first one left, which is real sad because the ending definitely sets up for another one, and I'm afraid that we aren't going to get that one, but in the end, I guess everything's got to end at some point. In the end, I would give this movie 2.5 out of 5 stars, because it's just average. It's just average, which some would say is the worst thing for a movie to be, but it's just, the more I thought about it, the more it's just like a meh movie. And that's it for the review. So remember, everybody, stay classy.